I'm going to be ranking the best center cards right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. We have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 30 of the best center cards right now in my team, and you guys can let me know in the comment section down below which are your guys' favorite centers to be running right now in my team, and of course let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But looking at the first center card is going to be Pink Diamond Mo Bamba. I think he's probably like a perfect B tier center. He's 7 foot with a 7'10" wingspan, so does have pretty good size for that center position. We know his defense is going to be super elite for a Pink Diamond card, especially with a 96 block, 95 interior defense, 90 steal, 88 perimeter, and also does have some pretty good Hall of Fame defensive badges. We take a look at his animations. His jump shot is okay. It's not my favorite release in the game, but I think it's somewhat greetable in the catch and shoot, and then he also does have some solid dribble sigs. But the main thing about Mo Bamba, he's a big body, he's got a good wingspan, can play defense, and knock down threes occasionally, and I do think overall probably going to be in that B tier category. Artist Gilmore, I think, is a top 5 to 7 center in the game. I think just mainly because of his size and his defense really puts him into that S tier category. A 7'2" center card, 7'5" wingspan. He's got amazing defensive badges and stats. He's got a 95 block, 92 steal, 92 perimeter, 98 interior defense, every single Hall of Fame defensive badge in the game. And then you also take a look at his jump shot. It's not that bad. He can still green somewhat consistently and actually has some really good dribble sigs with the Donovan Mitchell size up and the John Wall scape. And you take a look at his ball handle, it's actually going to be at an 86, so he can move pretty nicely for your center card. He's great at finishing around the basket. He's also super athletic with a 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 94 vertical, 97 strength, and just all around Artist Gilmore, one of the best center cards in my team. Opposite side though is going to be Chuck Navette. Like on the flip side, he's probably one of the worst center cards on this tier list. He just is super slow. Like he's 25 speed, 25 acceleration, and can't shoot the 3 ball. He's just not usable in game. 25 speed, 25 acceleration. That's just not going to be usable all the way into June of my team, and then only does have a 25 3-pointer. So Chuck Navette definitely going to be in that D tier category. D-Rob, I would say, is probably an A tier. D-Rob is definitely more of a power forward card. I just had to put him on this center tier list because there's not too many actual center cards in the game. He is still 7'1" with a 7'5" wingspan. I still feel like you can play him at the center position. He's just going to be so much better at power forward, but he's still like a good defender, has a good jump shot for a center card, and also really good offensively while still being a great defender. I just don't think he's going to be a top 5 to 7 center anymore in the game, so I do got him in that A tier category. Manute Bol, I mean, obviously the best card in the game, easily the best center. He's just so overpowered. Being 7'7" with an 8'5" wingspan is just so overpowered on Manute Bol, and one of the best player models in the game. I mean, you guys probably know by now if you've played against Manute Bol, if you've seen the card in game, he's just so overpowered and so glitchy that he is definitely going to be the best center card in my team. Joel Embiid, I would say, is probably C or B tier. I'll go B tier. I do like him more than a card like Patrick Ewing, who I'll put in the C tier category. I think Embiid, just like D-Rob, is so much better at power forward. Like if you're going to use Joel Embiid, I'd recommend running him at the 4, but once again, just had to kind of put him on this tier list because there's not too many actual center cards. But yeah, he's 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan. He's got amazing all-around stats and badges, but the reason why he's not on D-Rob's level is because of his jump shot. I just do not like his release compared to a card like D-Rob's, and that's like the biggest difference at this stage of my team. Just really comes down to most cards' animations, their jump shots, their dribble sigs, their size, their player models. That's what it pretty much comes down to, and I think D-Rob's got a much better jump shot. And then yeah, Patrick Ewing going to be in C tier. Just doesn't have a great release. Once again, that's a big factor of how good a card is. Mainly just comes down to their jump shot animations, also their size at the center position. So I do think Patrick Ewing, mainly just due to his bad release in my opinion, gonna be in that C tier category. George Mirasan, another D tier center card. Yes, he can shoot the 3 ball a little bit because he does have, I think, like a 70 something. Yeah, 73 3 ball obviously is nice to have on a giant card that's 7'7" with a 7'11" wingspan. But he's got 25 speed, 25 acceleration. Once again, just like Chuck Navette, that's going to be pretty much unusable. He is a little bit better than Chuck, though. He's a little bit taller, a little bit better player model, and at least can shoot the 3 ball. But I just don't think either of these cards can be higher than D tier with 25 speed and 25 acceleration. Chris Kaman, don't think he's really a great center card, just going to put him in C tier because I do think he's slightly better than a George Mearson and a Chuck Nevette, just because he's actually somewhat usable in game. He's got more speed and a higher 3-ball than both these cards. I actually want to see what his stats and his badges do look like. I don't know if is he the card that has a low 3-ball. No, he doesn't. 83 3-ball, 80 speed, 80 acceleration. Just that in itself proves to be a better card than George Mearson and Chuck Nevette. Even if he's a little bit shorter, you know, doesn't have that crazy size and player model, at least he does have the speed where he can keep up with other center cards in the game. Dikembe Mutombo, I think is probably going to be an A tier. I'm not sure if Dikembe is a top 5 to 7 center in the game. I still think he's elite at the center position, but once again, I feel like if you got Dikembe Mutombo, you probably want to run him at power forward. He is 7'2" though, and is a great defender, and still one of the best shot blockers. 7'2" at center, 7'6" wingspan. I mean, he's got a 98 block, 98 interior defense, 88 steal, 90 perimeter, almost every single Hall of Fame defensive badge in the game, and they actually gave him somewhat decent of a jump shot where he can green somewhat consistently. So I think Dikembe still easily an A tier center. But it's like Kristaps, I think, is slightly better at the 5, and I do think Kristaps will be a top 5 to 7 center and in the S tier category. 7'3", 7'6" wingspan, one of the best center jump shots in the game. So I do think Kristaps got to be in the S tier category. Brook Lopez, I think, is really close to S. I'm going to say Brook Lopez in A tier, though. I think he's on the same level as a D-Rob and a Dikembe Mutombo. He's 7'1" at the center position, 7'5" wingspan. And I will say, compared to the top centers in the game, he's going to be one of the only affordable, cheap, you know, really good centers. He's about 30K, maybe even a little bit lower nowadays. And he's like on that D-Rob. I'd say he's better than D-Rob at the center position. D-Rob's a better card because D-Rob can also play power forward. And then between Brook Lopez and Dikembe, I think it's a really close debate because Brook Lopez also going to give you that great defense with a 97 block, 94 steal, 90 perimeter, 96 interior defense. He can clamp up most positions. He's decently fast, and just like Dikembe does have a new and improved jump shot that I think is very easy to time in game. So Brook Lopez easily going to be an A tier center in my opinion. Marc Gasol, I think you probably also put him in A. I know he's a lot better at power forward. Like, if you got Marc Gasol, just run him at the power forward position. But I do think he's on that same level as D-Rob if we're talking at center. He does actually have some pretty good speed and some pretty good defensive stats and badges. So I'm going to say Marc Gasol in A tier. Yao Ming, easy S tier. Don't think there's really too big of a debate. Yao Ming, still one of the best cards and still one of the best centers, being 7'6" with a 7'9" wingspan. I mean, the card's just so overpowered at that center spot. He can mash, he can stretch out the floor because he actually does have a great release on very quick timing. I mean, only 82 speed, 82 acceleration, but if you do have a good center coach, for example, let's just say, for example, you have a Greg Popovich, now he's at 92 speed, you add a +4 shoot boost, and now he's at 96 speed. And even if you just have a Monty Williams, you know, for example, or you have that new, I think it's Paul Westphal, that coach, a +6 pace and space, right? Let's say you have him, for example. Now he's going to be at 88 speed for base, and then you +4 with the diamond shoot boost. You can get him up to 92 speed, which is really good for a Dark Matter Yao Ming card. So I do think he's definitely going to be in that S tier category. Mitchell Robinson, I'm going to say he's going to be an A. I do think Mitchell Robinson is like a tier below Brook Lopez. I think he's actually really underrated at that center position. Greg Oden, I'm going to say B tier. Same thing with Pau Gasol. I think these are two completely opposite cards when it comes to what they do on the court. Pau Gasol, more of an offensive card, a guy that's like a good finisher around the rim a little bit. He can, you know, shoot the ball a little bit better than Greg Oden, but Oden still has an amazing player model at that center position and is going to be a very elite defender. Peter Gudmundsson, I don't know if you go A tier. I think you probably go either really low A tier or you go high B tier, and I think I'm going to go high B tier. I think he's at one step below a Mitchell Robinson, a Brook Lopez, a Dikembe, a Marc Gasol. I think he's right below those guys. Definitely the best center card in B tier because Peter's 7'2" at that center position and does have a 7'10" wingspan. In my opinion, he's just a better version of Mo Bamba, but the big flaws with Peter, not that fast in game and is missing a ton of key badges. Like, he's only got a total of 25 badges in the game and he only does have 12 on Hall of Fame. So still a really good center card. I think Peter's easily the best center in A tier, or sorry, B tier. I just think he's going to have to stay in that B tier spot. Ralph Sampson, on the other hand, I think is going to be a top 5 to 7 center in the game. I would say if I had to rank these cards so far in order, I would probably go something like this at the center position. just because I feel like Ralph Sampson is so dominant at that center spot. He's basically just Rick Smith with a worse jump shot, and I'm sure we'll talk about Rick Smith here in a second. But yeah, looking at Ralph Sampson, he's 7'4" with a 7'8" wingspan, but this dude's player model in game I think is better than Rick's. I think it's one of the best center player models in the game just because of his size, his wingspan, his height. I mean, everything about this card defensively is going to be amazing. And then he also feels a little bit quicker in game than a Yao Ming and a Rick Smith because he comes with 85 speed base and 85 acceleration. The big problem though with Ralph Sampson is his jump shot. It's not as bad as a lot of people would expect, and me included. I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible. It's not that bad. The more that I've used Ralph Sampson, I've been using him every single game for the past day, and he's been actually super elite at the center spot. So I do think he's going to be in that S tier category. Kareem, I'm gonna say, is probably A tier just because of his size and can still play elite level defense. Rick Smith, I think you probably got to put in S tier as well. Like I said, I was going for like my top 5 to 7 centers in the game, and I would say if I had to rank it, it'd probably be something like this. Maybe I think Rick Smith is actually better than Yao. I think Rick Smith is basically Yao Ming just with a better jump shot, and then that's why I think like Ralph Sampson is a little bit worse than Yao and Rick Smith, probably because he does have the worst jump shot in the S tier category. Rudy Gobert, I'm gonna probably give I'm gonna go C tier for Rudy Gobert. I just don't like his jump shot. Bosa bonuses, I'm going in B tier. For Arvydas Sabonis, I think it's how you say his name, I just don't like his release. I know it sounds crazy, but I would take DeMontis over his dad at the center position. I don't like Arvydas, I think it's how you say his name. I just do not like his jump shot, but I think both these cards gonna be in that B tier category. Shaq, I mean, I do think Shaq is a better card than Kristaps, Artis Gilmore, Ralph Sampson, maybe even Yao, Rick Smith, or Manute. Like, he's probably a better card, but I do think these guys are a little bit better at center because of their size, you know, their player models, I think makes them a little bit better. And I just threw Shaq on here because once again, I needed some more center cards, and he can definitely play center and be perfectly fine. I just think most people, if you have Shaq, are going to be running him at the power forward spot. Sean Bradley, another slow center, same thing with Sim Bhullar. I just think they're going to have to be in that D tier category. Tyson Chandler, I'm going to put on the same tier as Mo Bamba. Vlade Divac, I think this card's very, very mid. And then Wilt Chamberlain, I'll probably throw in the B tier category just because of his defense. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my center card tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.